ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. So welcome to our weekly talk. We normally have it on Saturday, but due to some constraints, we are having it on Monday. But next talk will be on next Saturday. So today we will continue on the chapter 4th of Bhagavad Gita. We had covered verses up to 8, and today we will start with verse number 9. So verse number 9 reads like this: हे अर्जुन, मेरे जन्म और कर्म दिव्य अर्थात निर्मल और अलौकिक हैं. इस प्रकार जो मनुष्य तत्व से जान लेता है वह शरीर को त्याग कर फिर जन्म को प्राप्त नहीं होता, किंतु मुझे प्राप्त होता है. Now this is I think we need to go a little bit backward in the context. In the human being, every human being has three fundamental questions to himself at some stage in life. The first question is that who am I? Why have I come here? The second question is that why I'm doing certain things and what is the purpose of my doing things. So that is the second question. And third question is that what is this whole universe? How has it come into existence? So Lord Krishna has moved in a very systematic way. In chapter 2, he answered, who am I? He very clearly told that you are not a body, but you are consciousness which is beyond body, which survives the death and birth of body. Then in third chapter, he talked about the karmas. He says those karmas where you are without, kartapan, where you abandon the role of a doer, then you are not bound by the results of those karma. Or at the end, he said that you make karma as yajna, that you should make it as yajna, as contribution to the smooth running of this universe. So this is what he said. And in this chapter now, he is actually talking about the third question, that what is this universe and how this universe is run and who runs this universe. So here he starts revealing himself as avatar, as we saw that in the very first verse of chapter number 4. And now he is moving forward in that direction one by one. So he's in the previous verses 7 and 8, he said that he keeps coming to this world again and again to re-establish order, to destroy the evil, and to protect the good. This is what he said. This is his, normal, appearance in this world. Now, this is what in this context, we understood three, that is the avatar, we understood Mahapurush, and we understood the growth of human being. Now, in this verse, he has, in a very subtle way, has told us that those who understand the concept of avatar, those who understand the Almighty, and they understand him, there's a word here which he has used, tattvata, veti tattvata. Veti tattvata means, in real sense, if they understand that the Almighty's appearance in the world is actually divine. Divya. Another word is divya. It is divine. He comes here for a divine purpose. Now that understanding is not easy. When you play with people, when you live with people, like we were just talking about, Jagadguru Kripalu Maharaj. Now, when you live with a human being, you feel that he has the same body like I do. He eats the same food, he also sweats, he is also feeling hungry, he is also has to go to the toilet. Then you do not believe that there is any divine element there. You feel he's like me, he's like any other human being. विमल जी आप अपना वीडियो बंद कर लें. So this is how we feel that uh, the difference of divinity is not actually visible when you live with the people in a particular context. Even if the great divinity is living with you, it is not easy to believe that he is actually divine. Now, I give you an example of this. There is a story in Upanishads which says that somebody asked, there was a devotee of the Almighty, devotee of the God, or Paramatma ke bhakt the, and he could talk to the Almighty. So he told him that, listen, why don't you appear on the earth and tell people that you are the Almighty? Why don't you give darshan to your bhakts? All those people who are dedicated to you, why don't you give them darshan? He says, yes, I'm ready to do that. I can move 5 steps. Let those people move 1 step forward. So he said, yes, yes, why don't you convince those people that they take 1 step and I will move 5 steps. So he told them that after 1 week, I will appear in so and so place, which is only 5 kilometers away from your town. So you have to bring those people to those 5 kilometers, and I will come all the way and I will wait for them. He said, that's fantastic. He was very happy. The devotee was extremely happy. Then this devotee, he started convincing all the people of the village that the god is appearing after 1 week in so and so place, and this is only 5 kilometers away. We have to just walk there and have darshan of the Almighty. Oh, they were all excited, fantastically, very good, very good. But then some people started doubting. He says, God, can he appear? Is it possible? So some people didn't even believe him. There were a small number of people who did not believe him. 30-40% people says he's just telling a lie. The God cannot appear like that. So they did not believe him. Remaining 60% people believed him. As they moved about a kilometer away, they found large number of jewels. The hire, moti, panne, they were all lying around there. So out of those 60%, about 70% of 60%, they started, gathering those jewels, and they were very happy. And they said, no, we don't have to go forward. There's no need for us to go forward. Now we have enough money, we can go back. So approximately, 70% of 60% went back, and they were not interested in moving forward. They said, no, we don't need to see God. We are very, very happy now. Then the remaining 30% moved forward, and they found beautiful girls, wonderful, those wonderful dancers who appear in the Swarg, in the court of Indra. And they were fascinated. They said, oh, yes, this is fantastic. So out of the remaining 30%, almost 28% got stuck there. They said, no, we will have a fantastic time. These are wonderful ladies. We don't need to go forward. So they stopped there. Remaining few persons move forward. And they went, some of them also had second thought that this guy is just telling lies. So they also stopped on the way. And the remaining 2-3 people moved with him. And they went to the final destination, which was just 5 kilometers away. And they had the darshan of the Almighty. So you see, even this short journey of 5 kilometers, you were completely lost. The Maya overtook people. This is what happens in this world. We are overtaken by wealth, we are overtaken by prestige, we are overtaken by, sexual desire, by other desires, by many other attachments to this world. And by the time we reach there, very, very few people are able to reach there. This is truth. This is the truth of life. So here he's saying that those people who can actually believe that the God has appeared on this earth and his acts are absolutely divine, such people will attain me, they will reach me, they will not be coming back to this earth again and again, because the number of such people is minuscule. For that you need total surrender. Shraddha, there is a Sanskrit word called Shraddha. Now, Shraddha is the one when you are totally dedicated to somebody you believe blindly. That this is the God and this is how I should follow its instructions. So this is where Krishna says that those people who are able to understand the divinity of my appearance, the divinity of my action in this world, they are not coming back, but they attain moksha, they attain nirvana, they become part of me. This is what Krishna is saying, and this is in the context that most people actually do not believe this fact. They still believe that appearance of God is not possible. That was precisely the reason that even at the time when Krishna and Rama were alive, they were not considered as incarnation of Almighty by large number of people. Very few people knew that they were incarnation of the Almighty. So this verse has to be understood in that context. Even we will try to believe that yes, Krishna was actually the incarnation, but then some doubt comes here and there in the mind of, was he really incarnation? Yesterday I was there in his birthplace in Mathura, and I just couldn't believe, because I went there once long time back, but I don't have very good memory of that visit. But this time I went to the prison where he was actually born, and I saw the entire structure of the prison. It looks like a solid iron, but actually it is made of a very strong, stone. Not one stone, it's a huge complex, and which is full of iron-looking stones. It is impossible to escape. That kind of a structure I have not seen in my life so far. And that is 5,600-year-old structure. Part of it is under that mosque which Aurangzeb constructed, and a part of that is in the temple. So when you pass through, you get an idea how anybody can escape from there. It's impossible to escape. But then Devki and her husband Vasudev, Vasudev did escape from there. He escaped, he crossed Yamuna, and he went. That escape is not possible without certain divine happenings. So once you actually see the circumstances, you believe your faith goes up in that sense. So I actually thought that was a divine act which happened in that prison when he was born, and that is why he could escape from that prison and deliver the child on the other side of the river. So this is what Krishna says here, basically, that those who believe that my birth and my actions are divine, there are very, very few people who actually believe in that. But if you start believing in that, then you are not reborn, but you attain moksha. So this is the meaning, and this cannot be understood properly unless you have experienced little bit of circumstances in which your faith gets diluted. You have second doubt. The mind brings you to the second doubt. Was he really a god? Was he really born as the incarnation of the god? Is it true? Those questions then disappear slowly, slowly, and then you start believing in this verse. So let's go to verse number 10 now. पहले भी जिनके राग भय और क्रोध सर्वथा सर्वथा से नष्ट हो गए थे, वीत राग भय क्रोधा. दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग फ्रेज. वीत राग भय क्रोधा नष्ट हो गए थे, और जो मुझ में अनन्य प्रेम स्वरूप स्थित रहते हैं, ऐसे मेरे आश्रित रहने वाले बहुत से भक्त उपर्युक्त ज्ञान स्वरूप तत्व से पवित्र होके मेरे स्वरूप को प्राप्त हो चुके हैं. सो it is reinforcing the previous verse. It is says that you have to abandon vitrag by krodh. Now, vitrag, ye vitrag is a very typical word. We should understand this word very properly. You see, we have two words, virag and rag, or vairagya. We also call it vairagya, virag. Rag is taking interest in the world, in the worldly happenings, whether it is wealth or whether it is prestige or power or anything else in the world. That is rag. Vairagya means to get out of from them slowly, slowly. But vairagya is actually opposite of rag. It is what you call antonym. Rag and virag, they are linked. So vairagya is not a solution. Mahavir has also used word vitrag, and Krishna is also using vitrag, when you have to go beyond the antonym of rag. It is not vairagya, it is vitrag, that you go beyond rag and vairagya, both. So this is where we have to go. Vairagya is the beginning, but ultimately you have to go, like you have to go beyond day and night. That is the crossing the time, limits of time. That is what we call going beyond time. If you stay either in the night or in the day, it means you are in the time. And because these are the two opposites of the same reality. So here rag and vairagya are the same reality, but the opposite side. So we have to go beyond that. That's why this word vitrag has been used here. So those people who have crossed those limits of rag and crossed the limits of vairagya, vairagya is considered also very attractive because it gives you good name, and then you get attracted to it. Oh, ye to viragi aadmi hai. That's what we say. So then that also brings you a sort of prestige, and then that prestige becomes an attractive phenomenon of your life. So that becomes a rag in vairagya in real sense. So we have to cross that limit of rag and vairagya and go to vitrag, and then say bhai, krodh, ye sab. You have to abandon all that. So some of the people who have been able to do that in the past, and then there's a reference that जो पूर्व कहे गए सत्य को मान लेते हैं, बहुत से भक्त उपर्युक्त ज्ञान रूप तप से, जो that uparyukt means that previous verses which he has narrated, if they accept that truth, that the God has come on this earth time and again to establish the good and to destroy the evil, and his birth is divine. His birth is not a normal birth of every human being. It's a very divine birth. If you accept that as a reality, then you are, absolutely out of this world. Then you are dedicated to the Almighty, and you become totally, free, liberated in this world. So these verses, in fact, the next one too, these are the verses of God realization. The chapter 2 was the self-realization, that you realize yourself. Who are you? The chapter 3 was the karma action, that karma yoga, that how you act and what kind of action you should do. And this chapter is now talking about God realization. Ki what is God? What is Paramatma? How he appears? How he run this world? This is not a detailed description, but yes, there is a fairly good description of the activities of the Almighty, how He runs this world, what is the power behind this, the whole universe, and that power is revealing some of the truths, not all the truths, but some of the truths have been revealed in this chapter. So this is what this verse number 10 says, that those people who have gone beyond rag, who have gone beyond fear, who have gone beyond anger, and those who have become completely dedicated to me, who have surrendered to me. Eh? Mamu Pasrita. Mamu Pasrita means completely surrendered to me. Those people are able to understand me, and then they attain the Almighty. This is what he says here. That for then you are able to attain or merge into the Almighty Himself. So this is an attempt to explain how God realization can happen in human beings. Then the verse number 11, हे अर्जुन, जो भक्त मुझे जिस प्रकार भजते हैं मैं भी उनको उसी प्रकार भजता हूं, क्योंकि सभी मनुष्य सब प्रकार से मेरे ही मार्ग का अनुसरण करते हैं. Now this is very fascinating verse again. जो भक्त जैसे मेरे को भजते हैं, ये यथा मैं प्रत्यंतते बच्चा में हम, जो व्यक्ति मेरे अंदर जिस प्रकार से स्थित होता है, जैसे आप इफ यू एक्सेप्ट द ऑलमाइटी एज योर गुरु, एज योर टीचर, then he accepts you as your disciple. If you accept him as your mother and father, then he accepts you as his child. If you accept him as his friend, he accepts you your friend. Like Arjuna accepted him as friend and he became a friend, a true friend. Like Gita, many people like, you know, Ramcharitmanas, in that the dedication is Bhakt and God, that you become the devotee and he becomes the God. So the relationship between him and between, if you accept him as the God and you become devotee, then that relationship is established. So all this relationship, for example, between Tulsidas and him, it was Bhakt and the Almighty. That is the relationship between the two. Meera accepted him as her husband. So the relationship is husband and wife. So what he says here, that whatever relationship you want to establish with him, you accept him in a particular form, and then he reciprocates in that very form. So it is not any discriminatory. You treat him as a friend and he will work as a friend. That's what happened between Arjuna and Krishna. You treat him as husband and he works as husband. And some of the these Islamic what we call devotees, who actually not the Islam which we talk about, the Islam where there's a devotion, the devotional Islam. There they even treat God as wife, and the God works as wife. So the relationship is based on your acceptance of the Almighty. In what form you accept? You accept him as God and devotee, it's fine. You accept him as friend, it's fine. If you accept him as mother and father, it's fine. You accept him, in any other form, he will reciprocate. So जैसे आप उनको बसते हैं, वो आपको वैसे ही बसता है. This is the in the modern sense, what we say, that every action has a reaction which is opposite and proportionate. It is exactly the same thing here. He Almighty will treat you the way you want to be treated. There is no discrimination. He follows your path. He he actually supports your path fully. So in whatever way you want to accept him, you accept him. Now you see these are all the clues towards God realization. कि आप परमात्मा को कैसे समझें. Starting from the verse number 1, all these verses till now, they are explaining you how you understand the Almighty, how you understand the power behind this whole universe, how that power works. And those have been explained in a very subtle way by Lord Krishna here. So this is जैसे आप उनको भजेंगे वो आपको वैसे ही भजेगा. So you choose your way. Whether you want to accept him as a friend, accept him as a friend. You want to accept him as your child. Some people accept Almighty as a child and you become father. So he becomes your child. There are many, I know some people who accepted him as a kana. And kana means a small child whom we are feeding. And there are a lot of people who have that pratima at home. They only, treat him as a child. And they do what you do to your own child. So then in that case, he treats you as your father. So you can accept him in any way you want. The choice is yours. He will reciprocate and he will come forward. So this is what he says in this verse here, verse number 11. And actually these words, ye yatha ma prapadnante, and then the last here, Pajjamahem. These are very important, keywords of this slok. And these words tell you that जैसे आप उसको accept करते हैं वैसे ही वो आपको accept करेंगे. Now verse number 11, verse number 12. इस मनुष्य लोक में कर्मों के फल को चाहने वाले लोग देवताओं का पूजन करते हैं क्योंकि उनको कर्मों से उत्पन्न होने वाली सिद्धि शीघ्र मिल जाती है. Now this is another variation. People worship the Almighty desiring something. Somebody is wanting, a job. Somebody wants good health. Somebody is wanting a child. Somebody wants a good wife. Somebody wants to get stress-free. There are a variety of things we demand in life. And actually, when I was there in temples yesterday, in fact, my daughter was telling that what you have some wish, have that wish. So everybody goes with a wish in the temple. So that wish is also fulfilled. And for that wish, we have created many Devi Devta. That is the fact we must understand. Iya Devta. We have many Devi Devtas. We have given them the status of what you call secondary power. That this God can give you wealth. Lakshmi can give you wealth. Saraswati can give you education. Somebody can give you the power of music. Somebody can give you physical power. Somebody can give you good health. So all these things have been created by us in the form of devtas. And we worship those devtas having a particular desire. And he says that those desires are also fulfilled if you are performing that ritual and that prayer honestly and genuinely. So that is also fulfilled. So here it is the link between the world and the gods. If you have a link between the worlds and the god, which is a reality, in fact, 99% people have that link. You want something in the world, you approach the god with that desire, and then you do rituals. So he says even those are also performed, those are also fulfilled by him. because he is the supreme power of all the powers. But he is not mentioning here, he will not mention here. And there's a reference to that in somewhere else as well. That whenever you perform a prayer with, with your heart and mind of a divine figure, of a devta, इनको we can call it demigod, of demigod, then that desire of yours is also fulfilled. This is what he says. That is linked to the universe, linked to the world. Your rag in the world brings you there. So those who are not able to leave that राग भय और क्रोध जो छोड़ नहीं पाए हैं और जो संसार में अभी लिप्त हैं, and if they have certain desires, they can also attain those desires through this route. So this is a good advice for all those who want to stay in the world and who are continuing enjoying the fruits of what you call material fruits of the world. So this is a very fascinating verse again, that you can attain whatever you want. You can, accept the Almighty without any question and His divinity. Then you will not come back in this world. But if you do this one, as said in verse number 12, then you will have to come back. Of course, you can't escape the route of birth and rebirth. Now, verse number 13 and 14. Now, the verse number 13, as you know, has been a subject of debate amongst so-called big scholars for long time. And this debate continues, but let's read it now. Chaturvarnyam, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya और शूद्र, चतुर्वर्ण, इन चारों वर्णों का समूह गुण और कर्म के विभाग पूर्वक मेरे द्वारा रचा गया। गुण कर्म विभागस्य, गुण कर्म के विभाग के द्वारा मेरा द्वारा रचा गया है। इस प्रकार उस सृष्टि रचनादि कर्म का कर्ता होने पर भी मुझ अविनाशी परमेश्वर को तू वास्तव में अकर्ता ही मान। Now why is saying this here? He is saying it because people will say that you have created this disparity in the world, and therefore you should also suffer for that disparity. But he says that I have done it not desiring something. I have done it based on gun and karma vibhag. Based on that, gun is the nature, the three gunas, what nature has given a person a particular quality, based on that, and the karma which he chooses based on that. So this division of four varnas, now it is not based on birth, it is not based on hierarchy. It is very clear here. It is based on the gun, that is the prakriti has given you certain qualities inherent, and then you acquire certain activities because of those qualities. So the combination of those two, I have given birth to these four varnas. Now if you look at objectively in the world, even those who are living in the West, you will find these four types of people everywhere in the world, without any exception. There are people who are cerebrally very advanced, who are scientists, who are teachers. You send them to a war place, they will not be able to fight because they have the brain power. So that is what are called Brahman in the Chaturvarna sense. In every society, you will find the so-called intellectuals. Intellectuals who are either scientists or who are teacher or writer, those who are basically involved in a lot of intellectual academic activities. So those are called Brahman. Then the people who show their prowess, power, physical strength. Now in every society we have those kind of people. There are wrestlers, there are players, there are people who show their prowess, and they are ready to fight. They are ready to fight with the enemy. So they call Kshatriya. They have the physical prowess, they have that courage, they take the risk, they put their life on, on dav, and they continue to fight. So that kind of people you will find in every society, and that is called Kshatriya. Then the third uh, category, which is larger than the first two, is the category which are involved in business transactions or agriculture. You will find that everywhere. These are the people who have lot of rajogun, that they are active all the time and want to do innovative things. They want to create new things in life. Uh, Whether they are doing agriculture or whether they are creating new industries and new fashions and new garments and new jewelries and new technologies, things like that. So that is a class itself, which is they have been endowed by nature that quality, that guna, and then they choose the karma befitting that quality of nature. So that is called Vishya. And the last quality is the one who do all other works, service works. Some people are doing in banking industry, some in insurance industry, some are working agents, some are working as salesmen, some are working, in fashion industry, not as entrepreneur, but as, you know, in other capacities, routine capacities. So those are the people which are called Shudraj. These qualities you go anywhere in the world, you'll find. There's no society which is completely bereft of these four categories of people. These are universal, and these facts have to be accepted. They have been, misinterpreted by us and they converted into a hierarchy that Brahman is superior, and then comes Kshatriya, and then Vaishya, and then Sudra. That was a wrong interpretation of the whole thing. That was wrong, but the four quality of people do exist all over the world, and those are the one which the God is saying that I created them depending on the qualities they inherit from nature and the activities they want to pursue in life. Based on that, gun karma vibhagsha. Based on that, he given these four categories of people to this world. Now, with these four categories, since he created, he is not involved. He is just, he is not taking any credit as a creator or as a karta, and therefore he is not getting the what you call return of that. He is beyond return. He is performing without kartapan. And that is the reason he has explained here, that people might doubt that you have created these four categories which have different qualities, and therefore, why did you create? And therefore, you should also suffer the consequences of that creation. He is saying that this is the duty of the Almighty. As an Almighty, I am doing it. So he is explaining this qualities of the Almighty, what all the Almighty does in this world. So this is some of the things which he has explained here, and that is the context we should understand this verse. And with linked with this verse are also what we call four varnaj, that is brahmacharya, grasthashram, vanaprasthashram, and sannyasashram. That is also a gradual progression, systematic progression of life, that in the childhood you earn knowledge. Your duty up to 25 years of age is to acquire knowledge, to learn the life you have to live, and to learn the skills which you have to use in later in life. And then you fulfill your desire to the nature, your debt to the nature. Because since you have been given birth by somebody, you should also leave behind people who will continue to run this world once you are out of this world. And therefore, you fulfill your debt to the nature, so you create progeny. You give birth to children, and you perform your duty to the others in the society. That is the grastha ashram where you do. And once you have acquired all that knowledge, then you can share that knowledge with the rest of the society. That is the vanprasth, where you share your knowledge. Vanprasth means that you are not gone to the jungle, but वन की तरफ आप प्रस्थान होने वाले हैं, होने की तैयारियां हो रही हैं. So there you first, give away all the knowledge you have acquired, you distribute or you share with the younger generation, and then you get ready for sannyas, where you actually move to the one. So these are the systematic progression of human life. Similarly, these four varnas, if four ashram and varnas. Four ashrams are the one that is, uh, your brahmacharya ashram, your grastha ashram, your vanprastha ashram, and your sannyas ashram. And varnas are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. All these things are designed to make life smooth, to make life progressive, to make life less cumbersome, and to enable you attain those goals which are easy for you to attain. If a person who is endowed with lot of physical prowess, if he tries to work as Brahman and try to develop his cerebral power, he will not succeed. He is going in the wrong direction. So for him, the life will become more complicated. Similarly, a person who has the quality of Vaishya, who can do a lot of agriculture and run industries, if he starts fighting in an army, he will not be able to do that properly. So basically, these are designed to make life smooth, so that life can move on in a very systematic order. And so is the arrangement of ashrams, that as you progress further, you acquire higher knowledge and responsibilities, you share that responsibility and knowledge with others, and then move forward. So that is the purpose here, and that is why he has explained. He is actually explaining that how Srishti has been, given birth by him in a variety of ways. So this is what the explanation of this universe in a what you can say nutshell. It's not detailed explanation, but in nutshell he has given this explanation, that this is the power behind running this universe. Then verse number 14, फलों कर्मों के फल में मेरी स्पृहा नहीं है, इसलिए मुझे कर्म लिप्त नहीं करते. इस प्रकार जो मुझे तत्व से जान लेता है, वह कर्मों से नहीं बनता. Now this is a very fascinating verse again. We have understood this word. There's a very interesting word here, spraha. And when we were actually talking on, I think in verse number, in chapter 2, we talked about a word called matra spars. Matra spars means that things outside physical thing which get in contact with your sense organs and create a sensation between the two. And that matra spars leads you towards your engagement in the world. Because once you get interested in money, then the money is able to entice your sense organs, and their senses get enchanted, and then you start acting that way. Similarly, for example, a beautiful music is enchanting your ears, then your ears get enchanted, attached, and then you get attached to that particular section of the world. So that is how you get uh, linked. The rag is created in this way between the senses and the world. So here he is using this word in a more or less similar way. that I have no rag, no attachment to any of these things which I do. That is, I means the Almighty. Because here he is explaining everything as avatar. So the Almighty is explaining that I have no interest, I am no spraha, I have no rag. There is no touch between my senses and the rest of the world. Limpanti, this is another word. Nema karmani limpanti. Limpanti is another word which we should understand carefully. Limpanti means as you put your hand in water. द वाटर लिम्पंती, हैंड के ऊपर आ जाता है, पानी गीला हो जाता है, हाथ मिट्टी में डालो, मिट्टी हाथ को पकड़ लेती है, मिट्टी में कुछ मिट्टी आपके हाथ के ऊपर लिम्पंती मतलब रह जाती है। जैसे आप किसी इत्र की शॉप पे गए, सो यू गेट सम स्मेल फ्रॉम दैट, वो आपके ऊपर रह जाती है। लिम्पंती मीन्स बेसिकली यू रिमेन affected in one way or the other because of that reality which is around that. आकाश में आप हाथ डालोगे तो वो लिम्पंती नहीं होता। आकाश doesn't leave any trace on your hand. So आकाश is in different category. But fire also leaves a hand. Air also leaves a touch on your body. The water also leaves, and the earth also leaves. The four gross elements leave, but Akash does not leave that impression on your senses and the body. So Akash comes in a different category because of that. So here, these two words, Limpanti and Spraha, these are both missing in case of the Almighty. And therefore, he is not impacted by the works he does in this world. So he remains completely unaffected by whatever he does in this world. So it starts from verse number 9, starts from the same thing, that his existence here, his appearance here is divya, is divine. It is therefore he is not impacted by whatever he does here. And those people who actually understand the divinity of his existence are also divine because they also merge with me. But that number is very small, as I explained with that small story from the Upanishads. And then he continues what all the Almighty does. So all these verses till now, till verse number 14, we have covered. They are all explanation of an avatar, what he does in this world and how he does in this world. What are his activities and how he is not impacted by those activities. Except the verse where verse number 12, where he says that those who remain engaged with the world, they can pray to the Devtas, and Devtas will give them whatever he wants. So that is slight deviation from the rest of the chapter here, and that deviation is a 90% reality or maybe 99% reality in our world, because most of us do exactly as mentioned in verse number 12. So these are very fascinating verses explaining how this world has been created, what is the power behind this world, and how this power acts into this world, and how this power is not impacted by the karmas which are performed by this power in this world. So these are the verses which we will continue on this chapter further, but we'll conclude here today at verse number 14. But this is, as I mentioned, the answer to the third question, that what is this universe and how it came into existence and what is the power which runs it. Some of the answers are given in this chapter. The answer of self-realization, who am I, is given in chapter 2, and my action have been governed in chapter number 3. So I'll stop here. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer those. Thank you very much.